Alright, this video is going to help you with the final exam, which is a project using Excel. What a shocker there, huh? Forgot that word there. Alright, so in the final, you are taking, whatever's left over from the mortgage payment and the amount that is planned to be invested and investing it each year at some given percent and accumulating that over 40 years. So yeah, your spreadsheet's gonna go, quite a ways down, down to month 480, right? If we're counting by months. But that's okay. Once you get the formula in autofill, it's not bad at all. So let me explain this really quick. These are the terms up here. You're investing $500 per month at a 10% interest rate, and we're doing this monthly. So I made N as 12, and I just put 2 years for this example. Otherwise it would be scrolling, and it wouldn't be any different besides dragging it down further anyways. So let's move this down to 24. Now also I wanted to point out, this was from a previous video, this A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the NT. That, if we plug this all into this formula, that would give us our ending amount. But also we have this FV function, which I copied and pasted this from Excel help because we're going to talk about that in just a second, which is basically doing this formula for us. So alrighty, so first off in the final, I do want both. I want to see you use the final value function, future value, and I also want to see it done by month. So how we're looking at this is in the first month, so the beginning of the month, right, you make your mortgage payment or whatever for the final, and then in this scenario I'm just saying you have 500 extra to invest. So make your mortgage payment, invest 500. So the accumulation here, we're talking about in the period, the first month, at the end of the month, what it had accumulated to. Similar to our amortization schedule, where it'd be what you owe on your house at the end of the month. Alright, so we're taking this 500 and we multiply by the 1 to keep the 500, otherwise we'd just see what the interest is. And all you're using is the 1 plus R over N part. So R over N. Whoops. Darn it. N. Okay, so after 1 month, $504.17. Quick side tangent. So what I was saying is this NT is basically telling it, take this interest and we're multiplying that for every payment. So 12 months per year and however many years. Well, if you're doing it for each month, you're just using this piece. And again, this 1, if I just multiplied P times R over N, that would give me the interest. 1 plus R over N is giving me the principal with interest, or the investment. All right, moving on. So if I took this and I drug it down, well, I need some dollar signs in here, that would just give me the accumulation of putting in $500, leaving it for 2 years. Well, we're not doing that, right? I want to invest another 500. So here's how it's going to look. We're going to take 500 and add this amount, and we put that in parentheses because we want to multiply all of that by the 1 plus R over N. Okay, so I'm putting in another $500, and this 500 that grew to 504, right? So $1,004.17 is all making interest. Because we're going to want to fill this down, we're putting in 500 each month. So that's an absolute value. We want to stick with that 500 the whole time. This one, we just want a $sign in front of the B, because as we move down, right, the next column in B7, I want it to use B6. In B8, I want it to use B7. I want this amount to be from the previous month. These two are also absolutes because the interest rate and the fact that we're investing monthly is not changing. All right, once we have that formula built, show it one more time. We could click, simply drag down, and you could go down to 480, which would be 40 years. For this example, I'm just going down 2 years. And if you check it out, let's see this last one. See, it took 500 from B3, added this amount, and then multiplied all that by our interest. Okay. Pretty cool once you set it up. I mean, you kind of track it as it's going. Now let's compare that to this FV function, right? Let's actually just use the shortcut. I don't care about what happens each month. I just care about my future value, my final value. Again, when you pull up FV, it describes everything here. First, we need the rate. Because we're doing this monthly, you have to take that annual rate and divide it by 12. Then we need the number of periods. So that's 2 years, but again, we're doing this monthly, times it by 12. The payment, so we're investing 500. Now, the next two are optional. In brackets, we have a PV and a type. Present value, we didn't invest anything initially, right? I mean, we're doing 500 per month, but it's not like I had, $10,000 to start. The type, if you notice down here, let me go in and close that. Show you that. Oops, what happened? Oh, I put one extra parentheses. Darn it. Okay. They don't match. Right, so what I want to point out is in this FV, if we look down here, when due, an optional argument, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, you don't have to put this. If you don't put anything, it assumes it's going to the end. So like, you would put your money in at the end of the month, therefore it doesn't make interest that month. Well, we're taking the approach as if it's the beginning. Right? I'm putting this $500 in at the beginning of the month. It's sitting there the whole month, and then it makes me $4.17 that first month. So this here, now in your final, I'm not going to be picky about this. If it's slightly off, you just can't get them to match. I mean, this should be the fix, but if it doesn't, don't worry about it. I've had some issues with Excel and exactly how they're calculating it as well. But all right, so we put a 0 in for the present value because we didn't do any initial investment, and then we put a 1, and it specifies right under here too, 0 end of period, 1 beginning of the period. All right, and enter. Now they match. In a previous video, I talked about this negative if you don't like it. I don't know. Kind of makes me a little nuts. How Excel is interpreting this is you're losing $500 per month because you're putting that away, and you're investing $500. Make that a negative. Now it comes out same amount and it's not red. And what does that mean? At the end of 2 years, you're getting the back $13,333.65. Awesome. What else is cool about building it this way, calling on cells instead of typing in numbers, is check this out. If we go instead, I'm only going to do an investment of $500 per year, right? So N is 1. It changes everything. Now notice this is in years, so they shouldn't match. But here's our year 2. Here's our year 2, right? Because we put T as 2. Or say you're doing that per week. So at the end of 2 years, if you invested $500 per week, here's your final amount. This here, again, it's only up to 24 weeks. Right? Or say you want to play around with the interest, 6%, let's say. Everything changes. 500 I can't afford. I'm going to do 100. And instead of 2 years, let's do 40. Right? So anything we change here changes everything because it's all built on those cells. Alright, hope that helps you out. Email me with any questions.